something terrible happened here. And for decades, people didn't talk about it.
I was an adult before I ever heard about it. It was something that was hidden.
This entire historic community was obliterated.
Bodies dumped in rivers, bodies dumped in mass graves. It was an absolute massacre.
In 1921, a neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma called the Greenwood District was a bustling community of Black-owned businesses. Tulsa locals know that period of Greenwood's history as a kind of golden age.
It was like a main street, really. So you would have beauty salons and barbershops, laundries, grocery stores, restaurants. So this was kind of an everyman's paradise, owned by Black folks, concentrated in a 35 square block area that abuts downtown Tulsa.
During that era, a successful Black community was met with white resentment, and Greenwood was no different.
The idea was gain economic power, gain wealth, and then you will get respect, and with respect will come political power. Well, just the opposite happened in Tulsa. If you gain economic power, you will court resentment and violence ultimately.
That spark was a Black boy accidentally touching a white girl in an elevator.
That event involved two teenagers, Dick Rowland, 19 years old, shoeshine boy who works downtown, Sarah Page, 17 years old, white girl who operates an elevator at downtown Drexel building.
Dick Rowland was arrested and taken to the courthouse, and that could have been the end of things.
Had it not been for the intervention of the Tulsa Tribune, which the next day published an article entitled "Nabbed Negro for Attacking Girl in an Elevator." It was a false narrative that painted the portrait of an attempted rape in broad daylight in public space in downtown Tulsa.
After hearing rumors that Dick Rowland would be lynched, several dozen Black World War I vets assembled with weapons to confront the mob.
As you might imagine, words are exchanged between the larger white group and the smaller Black group. White man tries to take a Black man's gun, the gun discharges. Chaos ensues. The violence lasted roughly 16 hours. Black men put up a fearless defense of the Greenwood community. But ultimately the mob spills over into the Greenwood district, burning, looting, shooting, destroying everything in sight.
The destruction of Greenwood wasn't just bad, it was total.
It's just like a wave that goes block by block. Both movie theaters go up, the public library branch goes up, the African American hospital is burned, 22 churches are burned, grocery stores, restaurants, everything is leveled. In terms of the number of people who died, there are reasonable estimates that go as high as 300. And Greenwood is, physically speaking, is gone.
We were not the perpetrators, we were the victims. But it took 80 years to get the state of Oklahoma to acknowledge that. On June 1st, they began to systematically destroy neighborhoods. And they had airplanes dropping things down on people's houses, and they had made up their minds to clear the entire area. My parents were very distressed because here they are with 5 kids, and the schools had been. I went to Dunbar School, and that was reduced to just rubble. I mean, they blew it up. They took my 8-year-old brother too, where they were holding all the Black men. And we didn't know, because we lived on one side of town and they lived on the other. We thought they were locking up the non-Blacks too. But it so happened that it didn't occur that way. What they did was to disarm and lock up all Black men. And then they said to the mob, there's nothing out there now but women and children, so you can do whatever you want to do. And that was when the real terrible things started to happen.
Property damage estimates range from $1.5 to $2 million, which translates to $25 million today.
It ended when the city was placed under martial law and National Guard troops were deployed. But Black Wall Street was devastated. Survivors never received compensation for what they lost.
Many years ago, I was introduced to the life and the legacy, the teachings of Marcus Messiah Garvey. Without a second place, the greatest leader for diasporic African people all over the world. He raised a standard originally from Jamaica, cut his chops in Harlem, New York, and the world darkened his door. He amassed such a following that to hold his convention, he needed Madison Square Garden not for a weekend, not for a week, but for a month. I read his teachings and I was amazed that when his organization, the United Negro Improvement Association, found itself in dire straits, who sent money, who sent support, who sent resources, were people from an unknown area called Greenwood in the heart of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They created what we now know as Black Wall Street. A group of African Americans in the Midwest curated their own hospitals, their own hotels, their own establishments, own jewelry stores, own department stores. And 100 years ago, this year, it was burned to the ground by white capitalists who did not want to see African Americans acquire independent wealth. Well, here we are, 100 years later. 2 years ago, I met an industrious, a saved, a committed, a focused businessman by the name of Bill Allen. And we talked at breakfast, what then turned into a 4.5-hour meeting about the plight and the predicament of African Americans, who, according to data, by 2035 will have zero net worth. We recognize and realize that Atlanta is ripe to be the new Black Wall Street. So I'm on my way now to introduce you, one, to Mr. Bill Allen, and two, the grounds which I consider to be sacred, something that has not been seen in 100 years. We're calling it the new Black Wall Street. We have such a space that 110 Black-owned businesses will be under the same roof, from jazz clubs to organic grocery store to beauty salons to even an art gallery. We want this to not operate in a silo, but we want it to be the template for major urban metropolitan Black markets all over the country. I'm proud, I'm privileged, I'm humbled that New Birth can walk alongside as a participant and as a partner. It is my hope that we'll be able to birth some of the entrepreneurs who sit in my pew so that they too will actualize the call of God that is on their life. It's an exciting time because from here until Labor Day weekend, we're going to be working around the clock. So much so that I am having service this morning in an unfinished project, because I believe that that's where it is that you are in your own life. It's unfinished. It's under construction. There's yellow tape, not because it's a murder scene, but because it's a construction site. Can you imagine what this is going to look like for unborn generations? To know that Black people came from all over the world, not just to shout, but to invest, to emulate, and to duplicate. Come with me now. It took us 100 years to get here, but today, here in Stonecrest, Georgia, you will be the first to see the new Black Wall Street. It was all a dream. I can't believe it's coming to pass.
Man, I tell you, we talked about this almost
2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago.
Because this was pre-pandemic, and blown me away. Because I thought we were gonna have to wait another year until all of this has blown over.
Well,
but you prospering in a pandemic. This is great.
So are you, Doc. I understand that you have increased your membership dramatically during a pandemic. That's amazing.
Now they got somewhere to go after church. Somewhere to go.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. I was coming over to meet you and got the invitation to come to Tulsa on June 1st for the 100th anniversary of the burning down of Black Wall Street.
Of all the pastors.
Listen, I said, this is confirmation.
Maybe even this.
I said that the old one burned down and the new one is coming up.
I'll tell you.
And we talked about how Atlanta needs to be the epicenter.
Absolutely.
For black economy and black growth and independence. And to see imagination come into manifestation is amazing.
Well, I think we're on the same page because I came here a little over 20 years ago to create the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute to help young people, especially minorities and African Americans, understand the value of owning your own business.
Wow.
It's okay to get a good job, but I think it's about time in these United States, which is based on, the economy is based on small businesses, that we become creators of jobs for others and lift our community in so many ways that we haven't done, obviously, in 100 years, when we had so many places in the United States, not just Tulsa, but Detroit, Chicago, Memphis, that there were numerous owned black businesses. Somehow they've floundered, almost disappeared.
I was on a panel with Killer Mike a couple of years ago. He said, all of y'all talking about revolution and nobody is growing a farm. You can't be serious about equipping yourself and you can't feed yourself.
Absolutely.
So when people come into New Black Wall Street, the very first place they'll come to is in this space, which is going to be a black-owned organic supermarket.
You got it. In fact, we start moving in some of our stuff now, even though, we are not, I'm always, there's never seems to be enough time to get all of this done. I know you know that.
Oh, yes.
The things you're trying to do. But this came about because the community, as I listened to them, complain about the fact that they didn't have the variety that many other neighborhoods have.
Right.
And I decided to do something about that and create at least something where there's choice here.
Yes.
Very upscale choice, because there are a lot of people here who can afford to eat or go or buy things any place, but they don't have a choice. They have to leave their own neighborhood.
Right.
And we talk about the dollar turning over, so I'm trying to create that opportunity for it to turn over into here. These are just some of the items that we're going to use to give you the flavor of what this market is going to look like. It's not going to be your typical grocery store with aisles down it. We will have prepared foods. If you want to come here and get an entire roasted chicken with vegetables. Home cooked meals, some real home cooked
I will be here every day.
And you can take it home with you.
Right.
That's what this place is designed for. Or if you want to come and get if you're vegetarian, you want to come and get a salad and choose your own fixings. We'll do this over in this area here. Or a sandwich, one of those real thick ones sometimes we like to buy. Those of us who are meat eaters, sometimes I do that. I don't do it every day. But also, as you're aware, Pastor Bryant, October 18th of last year, I lost my son. And my wife and I knew that we had some pre-notification about it. But one thing about him, he was a great guy. He loved to cook. He loved to eat well. Ever since he was a little kid, we would give him a choice to go out to dinner on his birthday or something. He would always choose very high-end place. I don't know why.
He gets it from you, honest. I've eaten with you on many occasions.
Well, Yeah, we have.
This is an amazing
so
legacy.
His name was Aaron, so we decided to make this Aaron's Gourmet Market.
I love it.
And just, you know, really classy stuff and really high-end and just make people feel good. Where you want to come in this grocery store and not rush out with your groceries, but sit a while. We even have a few tables and chairs inside of here. And, of course, on the outside. So this whole Wall Street market is a place where we want people to come and not just rush in, but stay a while.
It's a sense of community.
A sense of community.
The amazing thing about Tulsa, it was the epicenter of business. But a few weeks ago, we were in Harlem, which is considered the heartbeat of black culture. We don't just eat, but we express ourselves through the arts. And so this row is, this aisle, this component is really dedicated to the arts and artisans and painters and sculptors who are emerging but haven't had a place to display.
Absolutely. And as you can see, we put electrical up high so that we can display and accent wall art. In our community, we're so creative and innovative. Now, we have several galleries here. We're hoping to have artists here creating the art here where people, when they come into the site, can really understand what an artist does while he is creating art. And not just wall hangings, but sculptures, all types of creative, innovative type things. We're open to that. Because in our community, we're so culturally diverse and gifted with art, and I think it needs to be shared with the world. And so that's what we're trying to do here.
We want you to know there's not just going to be prints, but original works.
Absolutely.
One of the benefits of my parents growing up, kicking and screaming, they took my sister and I to museums.
Absolutely.
I didn't appreciate it then, but the older I get, I understand how valuable it is to have an art collection. And so we want to challenge emerging generations that you don't put all of your investments in shoes and bags, but make sure you got some art in your home.
Now, here is a larger gallery. As you can see, it's still under construction.
Yeah.
But for those artists that cannot be here, they may be in another part of the country, they'd like to have their works displayed and shown to the world, and also they'd like to make some money.
Yes.
So we will partner with them as the house, so to speak, and be responsible for their art and sell it to various people who we expect to come and see not only Black Wall Street, but have events here in this event space. So we're walking now into a smaller event space. We'll probably host approximately 100 people, 75 to 100 probably here. And it can be broken into smaller spaces in case you have a meeting of 45. Now we have several of these spaces here. The larger one is next door here.
One of the things that Mr. Allen and I dreamed about is for churches to come from around the country and to do their staff training, staff development, community development. We're challenging the Divine Nine. Don't just come to Atlanta and spend money, spend black money. So that in this, your executive team can train, learn, eat, all on the same premises. And this is just the beginning of what it is that we're doing. And so this is going to be a one-stop shop.
Good morning, New Birth. My name is Takia Gadsden. I am a virtual member. I joined New Birth last year on Easter Sunday. I flew all the way from Miami, Florida, where I currently live, to join the New Birth family at the new Black Wall Street. If I can fly all the way from Miami, you surely can invite your friends and family to celebrate with us at the new Black Wall Street.
Praise the Lord, everybody. I'm so excited that you're here with us this morning. You got to tag somebody and you got to share this experience. And let's have a great time in Jesus' name. Yes, Lord. Sovereign God, sovereign King, I trust in you. I trust in you. Sovereign God, sovereign King, I trust in you. I trust in you. Say, Sovereign God, I trust in you. Come on, I trust in you. Sing, Sovereign God. He's a sovereign King. So we're trusting in him. Yes, I trust in you. Sing sovereign God, sovereign King. We trust in you. Yes, we do. Come on, you can sing it. Sovereign God, sovereign King. We trust in you. Yeah, trust in you. Come on, let's do it. And we will sing. Come on. Yes, we will sing. Yeah, yeah. We will sing. Yes, we will. We will sing. Come on. He's in control.
Good morning, New Birth. My name is Elder Joyner. I've been a member of New Birth for 28 years, and I'm excited because today we are doing service live at the new Black Wall Street, and we're excited. We want you to right now take time to pass the peace. We want you to tag. We want you to call. We want you to text your friends, family, and let them know New Birth is live right now. So tune in right now.
We can't just be hearers of the word, we've got to be doers also. Mr. Allen is a consummate businessman, and embarrassingly, a whole lot of Christians don't know how to do business. When Jesus called the 12 disciples, he called 12 businessmen. Not one of them went to seminary. Jesus was of the mind, if you can't do business, you're not prepared to lead in the kingdom. And so our EICC is, in fact, equipping saints to go into entrepreneurship. So my hope that on this hallway, you'll be flanked by businesses that we help birth and to commit, not just to start, but to finish. Mr. Allen, Black Enterprise gives us the statistic that 83% of black businesses failed the first year. Not because they have inferior products, but they have inferior support and inferior training. And so we don't want to just drop you in without you knowing everything that needs to happen in order to run a business.
Absolutely.
This is not a missions project. This is about how it is that we do business and how it is that we thrive. And so those who have gone through their due diligence of training and equipping themselves with the knowledge and the wherewithal to move forward, we're praying that some of those businesses will be able to be launched in here. Here's the beauty, is that this is not a community bodega, but people are going to be coming from all over the world just to partner and to be a part.
Remember when we were having lunch and you said, you know, do you have a little space about this big? I'm
Yeah.
like, I'd like to do a podcast, and we came over here.
Yeah.
And I think it was after we came over, it was about 3 days.
That's right.
3 days we had this thing going up and being built. So
Let's go in.
let's go in.
Yeah. I'm excited that we are ground zero.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is the station that you've never heard of, but you'll never forget. We're opening, Mr. Allen, on Labor Day weekend, but we're going to launch, hear this drum roll, a 24-hour internet radio station.
Absolutely.
Right here.
Exciting.
It's exciting. So please stay tuned. It's going to open somewhere around Memorial Day,
Right.
is what we're aiming towards.
Well, we're going to bring people in
Yes.
to see the building and walk through.
Yes.
And actually understand that this is coming to fruition through a lot of hard work.
Yep.
And it's just the beginning. The grand opening, of course, we talked about is going to be
Labor Day.
weekend.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend. So what we did was we created this. We haven't finished it. We're going to soundproof this room where you'll have your guests in here, and while they're waiting, they're going to sit in a very comfortable waiting room
Yep.
here with very luxurious surroundings.
And this is our interior decorator. Please don't let him talk himself out of it. So a 24-hour empowerment, new Black Wall Street station. 24 hours of information, education, training, and inspiration. And every now and again, you're going to hear a little preaching from me, but that'll be late in the midnight hour. But we are excited about those of you who are potential vloggers, those of you who have a gifting and say, I don't necessarily paint, I don't necessarily sell things, but I understand that I have a gift of communication that needs to be marketed and people need to hear it.
Well, let me just tell you, I got so excited. I
Yes.
didn't build one. I built a duplicate across the hall.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because, you know, not being of the younger generation, I didn't really understand podcasting. But when I found out and I talked to a lot of young people, they said, oh yeah, people love to do podcasts
Right.
and do streaming with it and all that type of thing. So we built two in case this one is business.
It's absolutely
One of
the things that we dreamed about is having world-class lecturers and authors come and doing it here from New Black Wall Street and then going right outside and doing a book signing. And so everything that you can think about in black culture is going to happen here at the New Black Wall Street, and you are hearing us live from the grounds of New Black Wall Street.
And you know, Pastor Bryant, people need to understand this is just the beginning.
Yes.
Because we have already purchased more than 300 acres of commercial land around here.
Say that again. You said that too fast.
Oh, we have already purchased 2 years ago 300 acres of commercial land in Stonetown, Georgia, which we're going to build a new Black Wall Street village. Now that village, when completed, will have more than 3,000 people living in that village. Live, work, play, worship, entertainment, all types of things. Amphitheater, hotel, high-rise hotel, all of this. This is the vision that we have. But we thought it was important to make believers out of people by not, that could be 3-4 years down the road. We wanted to do this and get something by the 100th anniversary of the massacre that took place in Tulsa, to let people know that we are not going to stay down as a people. We will rise again in terms of business ownership, and we're going to push this throughout the entire nation.
Little becomes much when you place it in the Master's hand. Jesus was teaching one day, the sun started to go down, and the disciples said, "Send the crowd away." Jesus said, "I can't do that. What do you have?" They said, "All we got is 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread." A year ago when I had breakfast with Mr. Allen, I had no idea a year later, in the middle of a global pandemic, we will be building such a monstrosity that will house the empowerment of a people who have been economically depressed, oppressed, and marginalized. Your faith has got to come into action. And so today, in a few moments, I'm starting a new series called I Gotta Get My Coins. I gotta get my coins. I'm challenging you to do something with me from now until May 16th. Whenever it is that you spend, I want you to gather all of your coins, and I want you to find a receptacle that you'll put them in. Many of you who are old school, you already collect them, you already have them, but I want you to do this from today all the way till May 16th. May 16th, that's a Sunday, at 12 noon, I'm gonna meet you outside of New Birth after worship. I'm gonna collect all of those. I'm gonna be praying for your business, praying for your idea, praying for your family's financial legacy. Those of you who live outside of Atlanta, I still want you to do it, but I don't want you to have to mail all of this to Atlanta. I don't want the post office to lose your sacrifice. And so even at the smallest receptacle, if you're collecting it in a mason jar, and I want you to challenge your children to even do it, it's $60. If you fill a milk carton filled with coins, it's $240. And if you are so ambitious that you want to fill a water gallon jug, it's $720. So on May 16th, all of us are bringing our coins, our excess, our expectation to the house of God. Can you imagine? Not next year this time, but by the end of the year, your business is going to be thriving. Your idea is going to get a second wind, and all of your dreams are going to come to pass. And it's going to start with you making a little sacrifice every day, whether that's 60, whether that's 240, whether that's 720. Hear me, that's above what you tithe. Let's do it now. Let's put it into practice. I didn't know how any of this was going to come to pass, but God had me meet a man who knew how to do it, the expertise, the wisdom, and the wherewithal. That's what I'm praying that God will do for you. I'm challenging you to tithe now, to sow now, to give now. If you've been rocking with New Birth, you know that we're not a church that just talks, but we put it into work. We make sure that our actions speak louder than our words. Jesus rose from the dead, so it's now time for you to resurrect your dream, your idea, and your call. All of the prompts for giving are beneath me. I want to challenge you to sow right now, to tithe right now, to give right now. We are 100 years from the Black Wall Street Massacre. I want to challenge you to sow a gift of 100 on today, believing by faith. If God could do that then, I'm excited to see what he's going to do right now. Sow your seed, tithe your gifting, and start collecting your coins. I got to give you this. Every Thursday from now till May 16th, we are doing a special called Trillionaire Thursdays. Trillionaire Thursdays. I'm bringing the greatest economic minds that I can find to help equip you and train you for your positioning and for your direction. Every Thursday at 7:30 from now until May 16th. Don't miss Trillionaire Thursdays. Let's go back in the tour and let's continue worship.
Whatever may be plaguing you this morning, it's our declaration that it no longer has dominion over you. Whatever it is, it no longer has dominion over you. Sickness, you have to flee. You no longer have dominion over me. And poverty, you have to flee. You no longer have dominion over me. I'm gonna say it again. Poverty, I'm in a blessed place. You have to flee. Help me say it. You no longer have dominion. Everybody say it. You no longer have dominion. And no longer have rule over me. You no longer have dominion over me. Everybody, this morning, would you help me say it? Come on. No longer have. Come on, work with me. Rule over me. Everybody say it. You no longer have dominion over. Just one more time. Everybody, come on, just say it. No longer have rule over me. Hey, you no longer have dominion over. I'll declare this, say, and over me is love. Over me is love. And over me is joy. You no longer have dominion over me. Come on. And over me is peace. Declare that. Over me is peace. And over me is freedom. You no longer have dominion over me. Would you declare this morning? Say, over me is love. Say it. Over me is joy. You no longer have dominion over me. Come on. Help me declare it. Say, over me is peace. Over me is peace. Hey, and over me is freedom. You no longer have dominion over me. You no longer have dominion over me. I declare this, say it. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. Hey, it's over. It's over. Sickness is over. is over. Your struggle is over. Whatever you've been going through is make that declaration this morning. Hey, make that declaration this morning. I'm no longer bound, 'cause God made me free, church. I'm no longer in sorrow, 'cause God released joy to me. I'm no longer in low self-esteem, 'cause God gave me identity. My past is over. My weariness is over. I've been made free in Jesus. And you've been made free in Jesus. Declare it today. Declare it today. You no longer have dominion over me. I need everybody in the building to declare that. You no longer have dominion over me. There's been some stuff that each and every one of us have dealt with. Successful, unsuccessful, weariness, sickness, poverty, whatever it is. I need you to lift up your hands this morning, wherever you are. And I need you to make a declaration this morning. Everybody say, it's over. Declare it's over. Whatever you were going through, 'cause it's a new place, a new season. It may look like construction. Don't worry about what it looks like right now, 'cause God is making it brand new. 'Cause God is making it new. He's making it new. He's making it new. Concerning you. He's making it new. He's making it new. Concerning you, yeah. You no longer have dominion over. Last time, everybody say it. You no longer have dominion. Say it. You no longer have dominion over me. Now I need everybody to lift up a praise like you know it's already over. It may look like construction. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by the King of Kings. I'm surrounded by the Lord of Lords, and He's making it new. I said He's making it new. I said He's making it new. I said He's making it new. Somebody ought to lift up your praise to Jesus. Glory to God, lift up your praise to Jesus.
We are standing on holy ground. I feel His presence all around. Very rarely are you able to glean what is happening at the ground floor. Most of us show up after the door is already being opened. I wanted to take a moment to extend to you a personal invitation to join us here on the grounds of the new Black Wall Street Labor Day weekend. It's going to be a historic moment for both you and your family. Intergenerationally, I need you to make all roads come to Atlanta Labor Day weekend. We're going to have concert, celebration, worship service, and ribbon cutting. Start making everything needed and necessary for you to be here. It is that weekend that we'll go back into our sanctuary, and it's that weekend we'll be cutting the ribbon for the grand opening of this amazing edifice. 110 Black-owned stores under one roof. This is landmark. This is significant. Many years ago, our late apostle, Bishop Eddie Long, gave directive about making sure that we were financially responsible. There's a mall down the street that wouldn't open up its doors to black vendors. And he told the New Birth family, don't spend another dime until we become stakeholders. It is out of that bold apostolic move that we opened up our own Call to Conquer bookstore. Today with me are some of our participants in our EICC, our Embassy of International Chamber of Commerce. They're grooming believers to take over the marketplace. I'm excited because many of you should have been inspired by what it is that you saw today. If in fact you are an entrepreneur who's ready to go to the next level, we have spaces that are available for you to be able to display and to express your wares. The email for you to get more information is on the screen. I want you to take full advantage of it. Make sure your whole family comes with you on Labor Day weekend. I need you to stay tuned, locked and loaded, because we are about to open up in about 45 days our 24-hour internet radio station where you're going to be equipped, prepared, and molded for greatness. I'm excited about your future. I see you in your future, and you look a whole lot better than how you look right now. Sitting in worship with me in this incomplete infrastructure, a couple of our students who are part of our Millionaire Mastermind Academy, where we're raising up women to crash through the glass ceiling of business and to do it with the prowess and expertise that we know and what it is that we expect. I'm beginning a brand new series today, appropriately, and that series is entitled Getting My Coins. Getting My Coins. I'm going to be in it for 6 weeks. I'll be preaching on Sunday. I'll be teaching on Tuesday. But on Thursday nights, I'm starting a series called Trillionaire Thursdays. Trillionaire Thursdays, where I'm bringing economic minds to pour into you and to help you get the best information needed and necessary for you to be a success. The Bible warns our people die from a lack of knowledge. If you're connected to New Birth, you're going to live and you shall not die. I want you to go with me to Matthew chapter 25, Matthew 25, verses 14 through 18. Matthew 25, verses 14 through 18. Our participants of EICC are prepared to take down notes. I want to challenge you to do the exact same thing. If something resonates with you, I don't want you to just write it down, but I want you to share it in the thread, share it in the chat. Matthew 25, verses 14 through 18. Again, it'll be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag. Hear this. Each according to his ability. If that's your Bible, I want you to underscore it. I want you to highlight it. I'm coming to it in a moment. Each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once, put his money to work, and gained 5 more bags. So also with the one who had 2 bags of gold, he gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag, he went off. He dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. I want to preach for a little while today using as a subject, I'm not going to the funeral. I'm not going to the funeral. I want you to type that right on the top of your screen. I want you to put it right in the chat. I am not going to the funeral. I know I'm late to the party, but it's only recently that I started listening to podcasts. And I stumbled upon an interesting one that I want to recommend to you as a podcast. It's on Audible. It's entitled, Black People Stop the Excuses. That's the name of the podcast. Black People Stop the Excuses. Each one, teach one. I want you to find that podcast. I want you to listen to it this week. And while that sounds good on face value, I'm old enough now to realize that everyone doesn't have a mentor in their lives or somebody competent that can coach them. For many of you who are watching me today, nobody ever showed you the necessity of strong credit. Nobody ever modeled for you why making investments was necessary. Nobody demonstrated to you the principle of delayed gratification. Home ownership for many of you in your family was never celebrated. Education was sold as a mild inconvenience. And yet, you find yourself today wanting more for your life. In spite of your upbringing, you've been feeling a pull towards entrepreneurship. Tiffany Howard, who is a professor from UNLV and a senior researcher for the Congressional Black Caucus, divulged in her report last year, and I want you to write this down, particularly those of you in EICC. Here's what Tiffany Howard reported, that black-owned businesses have created over 1 million jobs. Black-owned businesses have created over 1 million jobs and generated over $165 billion in revenue. That's what black businesses have done. Created 1 million jobs and generated $165 billion in revenue. The median net worth for black business owners, I want you to write this in all caps. The median net worth for black business owners is 12 times higher than black employees. The median net worth for black business owners is 12 times higher than black non-business owners. The reality is that sometimes you have to utilize remote control mentors. You can't get to somebody in person. Model what somebody else has done. Those are people who you study from afar because you don't have access to get to them up close. This morning, I wish I could wake up the hundreds that were killed in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, known as Black Wall Street. And I'd want to wake them up on May 31st, 1921. And I'd want to ask them, in 1921, how did you own your own hotels? In 1921, how did you own grocery stores, movie theaters, jewelry stores, department stores, libraries, salons, nightclubs, taxis, hospitals, banks, law offices? How'd you do all of that in 1921 with no affirmative action? How'd you do it with no stimulus checks? How'd you do it with no empowerment zones? How'd you do it, hear this, with no congressional black caucus? How'd you do it with no black person as vice president? And yet you still found a way. I'm afraid that if we go back to Tulsa, we would be doing a disservice because, quite frankly, it wouldn't be going back far enough. To completely understand, you have to go back to the allegory given by the Almighty in Matthew 25, where he talks about a wealthy businessman who's about to go away on sabbatical. But before so doing, he gathers his top workers and starts giving them out money at the time that's called talents. To one, he gave 5. To another, he gave 2. And to the last, he gave just 1. What's very telling is that he gave it, here's what I want you to write down, I don't want you to miss it. The master gave it to them according to their ability. There's some hard truths encapsulated in this scripture that the church seems to want to hopscotch over, and that is everybody doesn't have the same ability. Everybody doesn't have the same amount of gifts. Some are athletic, some are artistic, some are just good with arithmetic. While it is not fair, it's a fact. My daughter, Adore, is in advanced chemistry. She's a freshman. Her sister, twin sister Angel, is in college level Spanish. But neither of them are as comfortable as Grace in holding conversation with strangers. They have different levels of capacity, different level of giftings. So Angel is not mad that she's not in AP chemistry. And Adore's not jealous that she is not speaking fluent Spanish. And Grace don't care about either one of them, because she's comfortable in her own gift. I wish adults would be as comfortable as teenagers to say, I can recognize somebody else's gift without feeling threatened. I can't sing like Jonathan. I don't know the internet like Curvance, but I know my gift. Because I know my gift, I'm comfortable in the people around me flowing in theirs. Most of the people who are adversarial to your gifting are not comfortable or have not identified their own. If you know what your gift is, you wouldn't be mad with my wrapping paper. Because all of the tangible things that come with my gift is not my gift. It's just the things that are connected to it. Even when the master gives you a gift, assembly is still required, and batteries are not included. God will let you see your gift, but he still will require work. 2 Thessalonians 3:10, this generation never quotes, but I got to give it to you. 2 Thessalonians 3:10, if somebody doesn't work, then they shouldn't eat. Something is wrong when we are raising children who have a sense of entitlement with no work ethic. You sit and allow them to sit at home all day, and then you come home burnt out and tired, and they don't know how to vacuum. That cup is still in the sink. Won't even make up their own bed. Why? Because you are not raising entrepreneurs, you're raising employees. Because they're waiting for you to tell them what to do, because you've not shown them how to be industrious. Genesis 2:15 told Adam and Eve, I'm giving you the garden, but you got to work it. And you got to take care of it. We got this building, but it is in no condition for what it is that the vision requires. So as a consequence, we hoped that we could open on Memorial Weekend. But there was some sweat equity and delayed gratification in order to have the spirit of excellence. I need you to have this, and I want you to write it down. Students, I need you to have it. Excellence is never rushed by time. Did you hear what I just said? Excellence is never rushed by time. If you want it right, I'll take my time to do it. God is waiting for your spirit of excellence. The man with one talent, hear this, only had capacity for one. The man who was given 5 talents, hear this, had the capacity to manage 5. I want to warn somebody, I don't know where you are, whether you are an instructor, you're a CEO, you're a manager.
I got to give this to you. This is what God told me to tell you. Don't make the mistake of giving the responsibility of 5 to somebody who is only equipped for 1. They are overstretched because it is beyond their capacity. The one, hear this, that he gave 5 talents, do you know what he did? He flipped it and got 5 more. The one with 2 made an investment and got 2 more. You just missed it. God gave the one who had the capacity for 5, he gave him 5, and do you know what he did? He flipped it and got another 5. The one that he gave 2, he invested it and got another 2. But the one he gave 1, he buried it, here it is, and that's who the master got mad with. I went too fast, I got to give it to you again. The one that had the capacity for 5, God gave him 5, and he doubled it. The one who had the ability for 2, he gave him 2, he invested it, and got another 2. The 5 ended up with 10. The 2 ended up with 4. Pastor, I'm missing what you're saying. What I'm trying to tell you is God's expectation for you is double. Whatever area you are in now, God does not expect you, hear this, to stay at that level. I know you have never heard it on this way, but I need you to hear this. There is a sin to maintaining. Maintaining is a sin. Maintaining is out of the will of God. I need you to say to your children, your grandchildren, to your bank account, I expect double. Now, if you don't have that kind of faith, you don't belong on Black Wall Street. But those of you who know the kind of God that you serve, I dare you to declare it out loud. I expect double. Come on, I need you to say it with authority. I expect double. Speak it to the universe. I expect double. That means I want to earn double. Some of y'all ain't going to shout over this. I want to tithe double. I want to be able to sow double. I want to be able to save double. Whatever I'm earning right now, a year from now, through the grace and the power of God, I want God to give me double for everything that I'm working towards. But God's expectation of my double is not connected to you shouting. It just got quiet. You getting double is not you running around the church. You getting double is not connected to you speaking in tongues. You getting double is a sign to your work ethic. And if you will not put your hand to the plow, you're going to be at the same place. This is not a gospel for lazy people. This is a gospel for those that can't sleep at night, for those of you that are preoccupied with a vision and a plan and an idea. God said, if you work it, I'll work for you. I just need you to have the mind that the goal is double. I want to zoom my sermonic spotlight, not on that one that had 5. I don't want to even pay attention to the one that got 2. I want to figure out and bring in for cross-examination the one who got 1. I need you to see how his posture, his attitude, his behavior, and his actions are polar opposite those who are more gifted. The one who got 5 immediately goes into business. The one that got 2 immediately looks for a shrewd investment. But look at what the one that has 1 does. The Bible says he puts it in a napkin, he digs a hole, and then he buries it. Because you're good Christians, you understand that anything that is buried requires a funeral. God told me to tell you this word ain't even for you. This word is for your unmotivated daughter. This word is for your unfocused son. This word is for your dispassionate spouse. This word is for your secretly jealous best friend. You recognize that they have a gift. You recognize the oil that is on their life. You recognize that they are doing less than their capacity. I need you to send them a text message and alert every person that bears your last name. I am not going to the funeral. I am not going to let you bury your ability, your gift, your idea, your talent, your call, and your anointing. I don't care that it's a pandemic. The millionaires in this country were always birthed in crisis. God needed this chaos in order for you to be creative. Can you imagine that God in his permissive will allowed 500,000 people to die of COVID, but he kept your lazy behind alive? Because there's some stuff that you are supposed to create. There's some businesses you are supposed to own. There's some houses you are supposed to buy. There's some scholarships you are supposed to give. There's some wisdom you are supposed to impart. There's some books that you are supposed to write. There's some nonprofits that you are supposed to launch. There's some prisoners that you are supposed to educate. There's some foster kids you are supposed to adopt. There are some saints who need to be upgraded. There's some sinners that need to be delivered. You gotta know I woke up this morning with an assignment and I refuse to let it get buried. Your assignment, if you so choose, is to tell anybody who thinks they're going to be in your life, let them know at the door, I am not going to the funeral. You can't be around me and have no goals. You can't be around me and eat off my plate. You can't be around me and hold on to my coattail. What are you going to do with your drive? Cancel somebody else's funeral. Let them know it's not going to happen. When the master returns and sees that he buried his talent, the master gets infuriated. God expects you to grow. I want you to internalize that. I want you to say that aloud. God expects me to grow. Yeah. He expects my savings to grow. He expects my retirement to grow. He expects my portfolio to grow. On Thursday, we begin our Trillionaire Thursdays. And our first presenter is my brother, who's a member of our church, Jay Morrison, co-founder of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Through his prowess, his business acumen, he made history by raising $9.6 million in 7 days. He raised $9.6 million in 7 days. He's a member of our church. It's the largest black-owned real estate crowd fund in history. He's going to be teaching on Thursday night. And Jay Morrison taught me a valuable lesson that I wanted to give to you, and I want you to please write this down. I don't want you to miss it. When he gave it to me, it almost made me jump out of my own skin. Watch what Jay Morrison taught me. He said, Jamal, you've got to learn how to work with a little bit. I want you to have this. He said to me that I say to you today, reading 20 pages a day, write this down. If you read 20 pages a day, you'll end up reading 30 books a year. If you read 20 pages a day, you'll end up reading 30 books a year. If you save $10 a day, at the end of the year, you have $3,650. you save $10 a day, the end of the year, at your bare minimal, you would have saved $3,650. If you run a mile a day, if you run just 1 mile a day, you would have run 365 miles a year. If you just do 1 mile a day. This is the part that I wanted you to have. I want you to put it in the chat for me. I know I'm giving you a whole lot. You're going to have to go back and watch this stream again. If you become 1% better a day, if you make up in your mind that you're going to be 1% better today than I was yesterday, at the end of the year, you'll be a 37% better person. Why? Because a little talent can go a long way. I remember this time in Luke chapter 7 when Jesus was entering to a little city called Nain. When Jesus was coming, there's a traffic jam because he's trying to get in the city, and a funeral procession is coming out. It's the funeral of the only begotten son of a widow. It was all she had left was this boy. And they were on their way, hear this, to bury him. Everybody is headed to the funeral but Jesus. And Jesus said, I ain't going to the funeral. So he laid his hand on the casket and the boy jumped out. Why? Because Jesus was not ready for him to be buried. I want to give you this word. God allowed oxygen to fill your lungs because it ain't time to bury your dream. I know you went through a difficult divorce, but you are not going to bury your charisma. I know you've been stressed out, but you can't bury your gift. Can't bury your personality. Can't bury your purpose. Can't bury, hear this, your business. All the plans for your funeral have just been canceled. You got to make something out of this. Can you imagine that a week after Easter, your idea is going to have a resurrection? You just missed what I just said. The idea you gave up on, the thing you thought it wasn't the right time, the finances weren't in a row. Will you get in line for the Easter of your concept? My grandfather, Booker T. Williams, a veteran of the war, spent all of my life in Veterans Hospital. Most of my mother's life, he was in and out Veterans Hospital. My sister asked my grandmother, my late grandmother, Pauline Lucas Williams, what do you think Granddaddy would have been had he not gotten sick? My grandmother paused, looked out the window, then looked at Tamar. And she said about this man she was married to, had 10 children with. She said of my grandfather what I never once said of you. She said, Tamar, he was so busy working, he never had time to dream. So busy trying to provide for his family, he never conceptualized possibilities. I would hate as your pastor to have to eulogize somebody who've been dead a long time. I would have to comfort your family knowing your children and your grandchildren never saw your dream. They just saw you tired. Saw you burnt out, saw you struggling, but never saw you fulfilled. I know for some of you it's going to be upsetting, but I'm telling you as your pastor, I'm not coming to your funeral if you don't work while it's day. For night is coming, and no man knows the day, and no man knows the hour. It's my privilege to stand before you at a makeshift altar, one that is not incomplete. I feel like you ought to feel comfortable because this building I'm in looks exactly like your life. It's just a shell. It's never been completed. It's an idea, but no walls. I want you today to know who I'm delivering your life over to. It is not by accident that before he could be Savior, he could be carpenter. Because he had to know how to build before he could restore. Wherever you are, if you've not given your life over to Christ, I want you in the hands of the master builder. If God could do all of this by Labor Day, I wonder what he'll do in your life in the next 7 days. I want to prompt you even now on the screen is the capacity by which you can join our church. This is not a church for lazy people. If you are lazy, you're going to be irritated just by our announcements. You're going to be upset by all our robocalls and all our e-blasts because we always going to find something for you to do. This is a church for people who are industrious. People who know how to take initiative. People who have inner drive and can't reach the brakes. This is for those who sing that old Morehouse hymn, I'm building me a home. That's where I want you to be. I want you to be a part of us. This is, a construction crew. All of us here are working on something. We're building something. You got to ask yourself, the people who you hang around with, are they construction workers or are they pallbearers? Are they doing everything to bury you? Or are they doing something to help uplift you and to fortify you? I'm excited about your life, excited about your destiny, excited about your future. I'm excited about what you're building. Help us build something great to the glory of God. Last week, we were in a parking lot. This week, we're in a construction site. I got no idea where we're going to be next week. But I want you to come into agreement with us. Those of you who are building something, those of you who got your mind on building something, don't forget that we are collecting on May 16th a special sacrificial seed. Special sacrificial seed on May 16th. Those of you, I'm asking you that all of the money you spend between now and then, all that change, you put it in a jar. Mason jar be $60. Milk jug hold $270. A water bottle, $760. On June 1st, those of you who are watching me from Oklahoma, I need you to meet me at Vernon AME Church on June 1st for the commemorative service for the 100th anniversary of the massacre on Black Wall Street. Here's what I want you to do. Those of you who are viewing us now, I want you to sow a special seed of $100. Saying, Pastor, I see what you're building. I see what you're endeavoring to do. I like how it is that New Birth is integrated and committed to the community. And I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm putting on my hard hat because I want those who see my good works to glorify my Father which is in heaven. I'm praying for you. This week, do me a favor. Work on your blueprint. Read 20 pages today. Run 1 mile today. Save $10 today. And make yourself 1% better today than you were on last week. Get ready, because we're going from the new Black Wall Street all over the world. And it's only going to go when we get your idea. I'm praying for you. I'm cheering for you. I believe in you. But know this, I am not coming to your funeral. Have an incredible week. God bless you, and I can't wait to see you Tuesday night.
Father God, I am just learning how to pray. Bear with me. First, I thank you for the life of everyone that's here with me. Then I thank you for the love you give me. Why? I don't know. I don't deserve it, and it hurts inside. Many a nights I cried and called your name out loud, but didn't call you when I was doing good, too proud. And still you gave me love. I wasn't used to that. Most of the people that gave me love ended up taking it back. That's something new to me. So I'm asking you for time to adjust. Let me make it there. I will be one you can trust. What I stand for, I put my life on, I do. I guess what I'm asking is, show me how to stand for you. And I will rap for you, sing for you, reach for you, preach for you, teach for you. I will love you like you love me, unconditionally. And I will always be prepared for whatever the mission will be. Give the nutrition to me, and I'll properly digest it. And when I give it back, I will show you word well invested. And whenever I go, before I go, let me give. Thanks to you, Lord, for my birth, for every day that I've lived. You gave me a love most of my life I didn't know was there. I give you my life because you cared. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, what's up, New Birth? You know what time it is. Time for your video announcements. Are you a college student or millennial looking to travel abroad? Passages and the Philos Project for African American Leadership is sponsoring a trip to Israel. The deadline for the trip has been extended. Travel dates are July 15th through the 25th, 2021. The deadline to apply is April 15th. Please visit our website, wearenewbirth.org, to apply. Our King's Table provides free groceries every Saturday from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. Just pull up and pop the trunk. You can also get a free COVID test from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Our eye-catching Resurrection t-shirts are available now in our Call to Conquer bookstore. Also, stop by to purchase our April Book of the Month, Rework by Jason Fried. Our bookstore is open Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. or visit us online at calltoconquer.com. We would like to welcome all our new brothers and sisters in Christ to our New Birth family. Congratulations. We thank God for you. You are in the right place at the right time. We will have a special virtual new members cultural code orientation class Saturday, April 17th from 10 a.m. until 12 noon just for you. Please visit wearenewbirth.org to register. New Birth and the EICC presents The Launching Pad, positioning your ideas, dreams, and business to take off. Saturday, April 24th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Noted speakers for this dynamic encounter are our very own Dr. Bryant, Dr. Rick Wade, Senior Vice President for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, as well as Pinky Cole, founder and CEO of the amazing Slutty Vegan brand and franchise. Please visit Eventbrite and search for The Launching Pad. Tune into service weekly as Dr. Bryant brings insight to building wealth and establishing a legacy for your family. These messages will make a lasting impact on your family and future generations. And that's gonna do it for your video announcements.